Will raising your eyebrows really help you hit higher notes? Should you take a shot of whiskey to warm up before the show? Today we're going to look at some of the most common singing myths so you can always sing your best.
Ooh, let's go.
Okay, myth number 1, raising your eyebrows, flaring your nostrils, lifting up your chin will help you hit higher notes. One of the most common myths that I see is that doing something with your body will help you hit higher notes. This may be lifting your chin, raising your eyebrows, or even standing on your tippy toes. Unfortunately, doing anything with your body, including, raising your chest or lifting your chin, probably isn't going to help you sing high notes better. It may actually make your voice worse because the voice as an instrument is really, really sensitive to getting kind of squeezed or pushed or manipulated by anything else that's going on in your body. Like, even if I tense my abs right now, you can actually hear that my voice is more tense. There's also the mental factor that if you think that you have to do something in order to hit that high note, you're probably just going to add more tension. The best way to hit high notes is to imagine yourself already on top of the note. I call this the plane technique because you're basically landing on top of the note rather than climbing up to it. Ma 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 ma. Anytime you push up for the note, you're probably going to strain or go flat. Okay, myth number 2, you have to sing with an open throat. While it's true that we want the throat to be as relaxed as possible when you're singing, anytime you're singing a vowel or even a consonant, you're making changes to your throat shape. A, E, I, O. And the shapes are created by creating some sort of a closure somewhere in your throat.
All'alba vincerò, vincerò, vincerò.
As a matter of fact, the vocal cords themselves just make this kind of weird zzz, kind of buzzy sound on their own. It's actually the closures and the shapes of the vowels that make you sound like you. Check out this video of when scientists made a mold based on an MRI image of someone singing an ah vowel. This is the shape of your throat on an ah vowel, just put over a steady source frequency. You can see that until they put the actual shape on top of it, it's just kind of standard noise. But as soon as they put that weird looking mold on top of it, that's the shape of your throat, all of a sudden it sounds like a person. For another example, an E vowel feels like one of the most open throat vowels that you can sing. E. But if you look at what's going on back there as you're singing, you'll see that your throat is anything but open. E. But we do want the throat to be relaxed when we sing. There's nothing wrong with singing vowels or consonants as long as you're keeping the rest of your voice, like your larynx, relaxed. Okay, myth number 3, a shot of whiskey will warm up your voice before a show. Man, this is such a common one. Drinking any type of alcohol will create some swelling or some puffiness in your throat. Doctors call this temporary swelling edema. But when the vocal cords are swollen or puffy, they actually have a harder time coming together to get that vibration that you need in order to sing well. But if you're having a hard time getting the sound that you want, you'll probably push more in order to get the vibration that you need. Ma 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 ma. But that leads to more swelling, which leads to more pushing, yada yada yada. That's why singers who drink a lot during their shows actually end up losing their voice faster. But that's not to negate that there are a ton of people that suffer from really, really intense stage fright and performance anxiety before they perform.
I drank in the beginning and I used drugs in the beginning to give me the Dutch courage, to match the fear that I was. I always was a fearful person, so it made me a bit extrovert, you know?
And for those folks, having a drink or two can actually help them kind of relax enough in order to feel comfortable performing in front of people. But drinking alcohol also relaxes those centers of the brain that control judgment. So you may think that you sound better than you actually do. Anyone who's done karaoke knows that. Be careful about how much you drink. Just make sure that you're kind of riding that line between not irritating your throat too much, not pushing too much, but also staying in control of your voice. All right, myth number 4, some people don't have falsetto. Have you heard that some singers don't have falsetto? I've even seen people claiming that women don't have a falsetto, that they just have a head voice. Falsetto is that breathy or kind of hollow sound of singing at the top part of your voice. Some singers that use falsetto a lot are Billie Eilish and Tom York of Radiohead.
Isn't it lovely? All alone.
Basically, you can think of falsetto as kind of the breathy version of head voice. Now, what creates that breathy sound is how much the vocal cords are vibrating. Typically, since the vocal cords thin as you sing higher, they don't vibrate together as strongly, which means that most singers that go up to sing a high note will actually sing it in falsetto first. Ma 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 ma. Although many women will have an easier time making that connection between the bottom part of the voice, the chest voice, and the top part of the voice, that doesn't mean that they don't have falsetto. Their head voice just may be their preferred method for singing up there. But if you can sing in a head voice, you can sing in falsetto. The only difference is how much the vocal cords are closing. Okay, myth number 5. This is a big one. Chest voice is bad. Oh man, the choir teachers are gonna hate me for this one. Many singers are taught that chest voice, or the kind of full resonant sound in the bottom part of the range, is bad for singing. Ah. But the truth is that chest voice is incredibly important to developing a fully functioning voice. I call it building your vocal house. Imagine that the chest voice is the foundation for the house. If the foundation is weak, then anything that you build on top of it will also be weak. In singing, if you don't have chest voice, it's very, very difficult to hit those high notes with power. Now, the reason that many teachers and choir directors discourage their students from singing that full chest voice is one of aesthetic. The goal for most choir singing is to blend voices together to create the sound of beautiful total vocal harmony. But if your goal is to blend voices together, then if you have a group of people that are all singing with a really full chest voice, it's actually not going to blend together super well. It might sound a little bit rough, a little bit brash, and a little bit unpretty. Think of it this way. If there were 20 Mariah Careys on stage belting their guts out together, they would all clash together and sound really, really bad. On their own or in a solo, they would sound absolutely amazing, like she does. A breathier and often lighter version of chest voice is just much easier to blend together in a group of people. But if you're not in choir or you have the aspiration to be a solo singer, as in a person that sings on their own, then developing your chest voice will be absolutely crucial. But just because I say something slightly different from the other vocal coaches or other voice teachers that you've heard doesn't mean that I'm right or they're wrong. For every vocal teacher, there's a different vocal technique. But if you're trying to develop your voice, then the first step is to get rid of some of these crazy singing myths like this.